Thank you, and thank you all for staying tonight. What a great venue, and what a great night. My story starts when I was 16 years old, and I was playing soccer. I fell, I broke my ankle. I wasn't able to walk after that for 2 months because I was in a cast, I was on crutches, and I was temporarily disabled. At that point in my life, soccer was everything, so I was devastated. I was out for the season. As a young gentleman, at that point in my life, I was able to see what podiatry was about and see some of these podiatrists and how they impacted me as the patient. That's something that intrigued me and I wanted to learn more about. I met more podiatrists and I saw the impact they had specifically on their medical missions throughout the world. And it's something that intrigued me and this was going to be my career path. I knew that this was the right match for me. Fast forward 11 years later, I'm in my third year, my last year of residency, down the road at the Kihm Medical Center. I'm learning how to do reconstructive foot and ankle surgery, and I'm given the opportunity to go to Kathmandu, Nepal. I've never been outside of North America before, let alone to a poor country like this. I'm going to try to pull up Kathmandu here. Kathmandu is across the world. It's a very small country between India and China, and it often is forgotten between these huge countries of India and China. I didn't know much about it, but I was really pumped up and excited to go there. I knew I'd have a great time and learn a lot. The only thing standing in my way was getting medical supplies that were requested so we could go there and make a big impact when we got there. I didn't know how to do that. I've never done that before. I had resources. I reached out to the doctors I knew. I asked my hospital. I asked companies and manufacturers of the supplies that we needed. And I got a little help, but not too much. So then what do? I Googled it, okay? And that Google search taught me about MedShare. And I pulled up their website and I read about their mission and their purpose statement. This seemed okay, this seemed perfect. They have a location up here in New York City. There's one over there outside San Francisco. They're 7 miles away in my backyard in Decatur, Georgia. I couldn't believe it. At this point, I knew this must have just been set out to be. And it didn't take me long to get down to Decatur, the other side of Decatur, and find MedShare. And when I got there, I made a donation, and I got this box. And in that box, I was able to put this stuff. I got sutures, I got drills, I got screws, I got gowns and gloves. I got tubing, IV lines. I mean, I got everything that was requested, everything that we needed to give to these people in Nepal and make this big impact. I was pumped up. Everything just fell into place. It was perfect. So it's time to go to Nepal. I'm traveling alone, 40 hours of travel to get across the world. I could have, and I have in the past, gone both ways, by the way. It takes about the same time. It's that far away. 14 time zone changes later, I arrive into Kathmandu. I'm the only one at the airport who speaks English. And after a while, I came to the stunning realization that my luggage did not make it. Everything kind of fell into place getting these supplies, right? It didn't matter, and I was really disappointed. I was supposed to go there and give them this stuff. I had nothing. These people of so much less ended up giving me and teaching me so much more than I was able to give them, and it's truly inspirational in my life. Now, my personal belongings didn't make it either. I had the same outfit for 2 weeks. I don't know if you've ever worn the same outfit for 2 weeks. Charles, don't try it. Take my word for it. You don't want to. But in that scenario, it was perfect. And I didn't maybe realize that at the time. But I was immediately immersed in their society and their culture. As I looked around, I'm in this poor country. These people have nothing. I'm still better dressed than Charles and other people. But these people have the worst deformity I've ever seen as a doctor. These people also have smiles on their face, and they love life. How is this possible? I had to rack my brain around that. Later, I came to the realization that these people aren't focusing on what they want, what they need, and this and that. They're focusing on what they have and their relationships and the people around them. And that's where all of us can find true happiness in life. And I wish we all remember that sometimes. I didn't have time to dwell on what I didn't have at the time. We had work to do. We had a lot of work to do. We ended up doing about 35 major foot and ankle reconstructions on these kids and these adults. Now, I want to show you the patients that we're seeing there. I want to show you some of the work that we're doing, and I also want to show you the conditions we're working in. Let's show that first video. This is going to be one of our patients that we see typically over there. This is a gentleman walking with clubfoot. Clubfoot is a devastating deformity where in the womb, the fetus can't rotate the limbs and go through the normal limb development stages. Unfortunately, left untreated, the patient can be disabled, deformed for life. Now, you don't see this guy walking down Peachtree, I hope, right? In the States, we're diagnosing this with ultrasound in the womb before birth. We're treating this days after birth with cast techniques, sometimes minimally invasive surgeries, and we're helping our patients here. But in Nepal, they don't have the same resources. They don't have the same education. The public doesn't have transportation to the hospital. The hospital doesn't have the knowledge sometimes. They don't have the equipment and the cast materials to help these people. Okay, so that's clubfoot. Clubfoot is 6 times more common in Polynesian countries than it is in the United States. So in these poor countries, it's much more common. People ask me, why do you go to Nepal? They need us. They're poor, they have the issues. Yeah, it's really far away, but they need us, okay? Now I want to show you, we can play the second video here. This is one of our patients. After the first trip, they were so touching to me, I had to go back the next year. I had to. And to see the impact that we had on these patients was amazing. She had her right foot corrected. She previously had clubfoot on both feet, so previously they were identical. And you can see the functional improvement that this lady has on her right foot. She's starting to be able to almost walk normally. Her pain is much less. And this is very gratifying for us as a surgeon. Surgery is a very delayed gratification, and it takes a long time, sometimes a year, to see how that patient's going to turn up. Talking to this lady, I began to understand a little bit more about her story. And in this country and in their culture, they have these caste systems. Even if you're born into a wealthy family, if you have this deformity, you're at the bottom of it. You're the untouchable. People don't want to talk to you. Some of our patients told us before they have not been able to get married. They can't even hold jobs, even if functionally and mentally they're able to perform them. So to see the impact we have not just functionally, but emotionally, mentally, socially, really in all facets of their life, it's truly rewarding for us. Okay. I went back the next year, the next year, the next year. Now I co-lead the team, and we're going back in about 6 months. One of our goals is to fix her other foot. I want to show you one more video. We can start to play this. This is a OR setting in one of the remote villages that I worked in this March. You'll see some differences. First of all, there's 2 surgeries going on in the same OR. That doesn't happen here. It's pitch black over there. They're using flashlights so you can see what you're doing. Unfortunately, power outages are frequent. For about the entire week, we didn't have power. And unfortunately, the backup generator wasn't working. Use the supplies and the conditions that you have, and you make do with what you can to make a real impact. Some of these surgeries are 4 or 5, 6 hours long. The spinal anesthesia is being monitored with battery-operated equipment, and we do what we can, okay? So I show you that to explain that this is a different world, okay? This is not downtown Atlanta or far away where they don't have as much supplies as Emory University. This is a different world, okay? 3 weeks after I arrived after taking this video, I'm sleeping on a Saturday morning around 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm starting to get text messages from multiple people and friends, and they're asking if I'm okay, and I don't understand. And quickly I learned about the earthquake in Nepal. 7.8 magnitude earthquake, among the worst they've ever had in their recorded history. 10,000 people died, 25,000 people were injured, billions of dollars of destruction. Now, I was just there. I saw this poor country. You just saw that. I know these people. I have a brotherhood that I've formed with them throughout the years. To know how poor they are, and then to imagine them demolished, destructed, and crushed, I just couldn't understand how they were going to be okay. I had to turn off the news. I couldn't watch any more of it. It affected me that much. Now, that happened on a Saturday, and after that weekend, I took off on Monday. and I tried to get some things going. But just like when I was there in Nepal, I had a credit card, I had money, but I didn't have other clothes. And I knew at this time, a lot of people were raising money for Nepal. But even if they had money, they didn't have the stuff. And just like when I didn't have those clothes, I wish somebody sent me clothes. But I knew they needed MedShare. They needed the supplies. They needed a lot of it. They needed it quick. I called MedShare. I was lucky enough to get Mr. Charles Redding on the phone, the CEO of MedShare. He was gracious enough to invite me in to spend some time with me. And this man put a plan into action. They reached out to Nepal. They talked to them and said, "What do you need?" They got it. They put it together. Imagine skids lined up, 40 feet long by 20 feet wide by 10 feet tall of medical supplies. That's what they did. They put it on an airplane. They express shipped it as quickly as they could. That's a lot of stuff. That's a big reaction. I didn't do anything. I connected some dots. I took off Monday from work. Receiving those supplies must have been a huge pat on the back for the people in Nepal, saying, "It's okay, hang in there. We're going to get you through this. We're going to help you. I'm on the other side of the world, but we're here to support you and help you." I'm sure it gave them hope, but more importantly, I know that it must have saved lives. And for that, I thank you, Mr. Charles Redding, corporate MedShare, every employee who's here of MedShare. You guys are wonderful. And everybody who's here to support this great organization. And thank you not just from me, thank you from Haiti, and thank you from Nepal, and thank you from all these countries throughout the world that you guys are serving, not just from this past year, but for what you're about to do this year coming up, and for the impact that you're having on this world forever. Thank you so much.